And we're back with Ron with another question from one of our members. Hey, Ron, as our memories of past traumas are suppressed in our minds, what is the best way to work through releasing and forgiving those traumas?
Traumatic events in our lives it's a part of life. Who hasn't had some trauma of some sort? Forgiving and releasing, it's a very difficult question, because you can start out, and then when you're supposed to be completed, it's supposed to be those traumas are resolved or whatever, forgiven. From my perspective, what is there to forgive about a trauma? We're here on the earth. We have traumatic experiences, car crashes and stuff like that. And there's also trauma with fights or stabbings or killings or something like that, or rape or whatever. Those are traumas. The most important thing to do, don't go back and resurrect traumatic experiences as if you can release them. Traumatic experiences that are not dealt with at the appropriate time will stay with you. But if you go back and try and resolve the trauma, if you remember that somebody did something to you, then forgive. And you don't have to go back and try and relive it and go through all of the excruciating pain and suffering and the trauma that is associated with it, as in terms of psychological messing you up. The cabal owns the past. And so if you want to forgive and release traumas and so forth, traumas usually have to do with people. So a car crash or whatever. And just forgive them. If you bring it up and forgive them, then that's a reason to bring it up, but you don't have to relive it. And so my suggestion is, don't go into the past with traumas unless you're being plagued by them. Go back and address them and forgive the people. Forgiveness is a beautiful thing. And if we learn how to forgive people at the appropriate time, you'll hear on the news the person who ran over a pedestrian in the crosswalk. Well, they didn't run off. They stayed and were helping and doing everything they could for the person. Well, that's the best thing to do. And with your doing that, it's in effect forgiving them or forgiving you, whatever. So if you were the passenger or the person who got hit, you can forgive. A lot of people won't, but you can forgive. And if you do, then you don't have the trauma that comes back into your life. Traumas that are not resolved will continue to fester in your psychic for the rest of your life until you deal with them. But how do you deal with them? My suggestion is you just bring it up in your mind and then forgive everything. Tell the person who ran over you, I forgive you. I love you and hope that your trauma with me is not affecting a negative thing in your life. You resolve those kinds of problems that way, and you will find peace and happiness that you never thought about. But if you hold grudges and hold back those kinds of negative thoughts, not hold back, but hold on to those negative thoughts and ideas, that's what destroys yourself. So forgive and forget, love and move on. And that's the best way to to deal with past experiences that you call traumatic experiences. That's the best I can do. We'll move on to the next question.
Thank you, Ron. That was a wonderful answer to a very, very deep question. So we'll be back in a minute with another question from a member.
Sounds good.